Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for arranging this. Well, thank you so much for joining this live event today. We have we're lucky to have Amit Kumar from Thales joining us, and also we have Nicole and Jonas joining us from Guardsquare. Both of them are based in Belgium. The topic that we're going to talk about today is quite general, but it's one of the main topic that most of our partners, even our salespeople are getting. Customers are asking this question, so I think we will start quickly now without wasting time. Before we start, let me invite Amit to share a bit about himself so that the audience wants get to know about Amit. Then after Amit, then we will invite Nicole and followed by Jonas. Yeah, Amit, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I think especially your area of focus. Of course, we wanted to know the areas of expertise, so that people understand where you're coming from. Yeah, over to you, Amit.
Thanks, Michael. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's pleasure to meet you all in this virtual event. My name is Amit Kumar, and I am a sales engineering manager in CPL, that stands for Cloud Protection and Licensing Business Unit under Thales Group. Our focus area is to help software companies to maximize their revenue, improve operational efficiency, and increase their customer satisfaction. And this is what we have been doing in under this business group in APAC region. I think
Okay,
that's
good.
pretty much.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, probably there are more questions later, so that we get to know you more. Now over to
Of
you,
course.
Jonas. Can you tell us a little bit more yourself, Jonas?
Thank you, Michael, and nice to meet everyone. My name is Jonas Gijbels. I'm a solutions engineer at Guardsquare, so I typically help our customers integrate code hardening tools, TextGuard and Xguard in their Android and iOS projects.
Okay, thank you. And Nicole, yourself, can you share a bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me today. My name is Nicole, and I'm an account manager here at Guardsquare. I mostly focus, in many regions, however, mostly Asia and Latin America.
Okay, great. Yeah, and both of you are based in Belgium, right? Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Jonas and Nicole from Belgium. Then we have Amit based in Hong Kong. All right. Okay. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are actually there are many questions, but in fact, we have picked the top 5 questions, the top 5 popular questions that we always get from our customers and prospects. Yeah. So let me go to the first question. Yeah. Okay, one of the popular questions that we always get is, I think this is a very general question, but more importantly, if we want to hear from the experts, from especially Thales and also, if possible, Guardsquare as well, from your perspective, what do you think about this and how are you addressing this question? For example, like what is software piracy in your perspective and how do you prevent it? Yeah, can I pass this question to Amit first? Amit, can you answer this from your perspective? Amit, we can't hear you.
My apology, I put myself muted. So thanks, Michael. So software piracy, if I answer this way, is the act of making an illegal copy of the software, which is being distributed or sold or shared, whether it is intentional or unintentional. For example, suppose if we purchase the software for one mobile device, but can copy on multiple mobile devices. Or another example could be like we purchase the rights to use the app for a certain period of time, or certain modules within the app, but somehow end up overusing it. These are the common types of piracy, and using such pirated software put IT companies at increased risk of malware infection, which can cripple the user's company network as well. According to BSA Software Alliance, I have the data that malware attack can cost a company $2.4 million on average and can take up to 50 days to resolve. The organization also estimates that loss due to malware cost companies around $359 billion a year, while the loss due to unlicensed software is a $46 billion. So such piracy are proven to be very costly for IT companies, since they are losing their revenue, they are losing their profit because of such piracy. And how to prevent it? Well, the best way to prevent it is to have the right solution in place. There has always been a law, but it never been proven enough, because sometimes the user does not even know that they are doing something illegal, or they have already purchased a pirated copy. So the best way to protect our users from these piracies is always to implement the right protection solution, Michael.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I suppose that's a very good way to stop software piracy, right? And in fact, there are two areas here. I think today we are basically focusing on the mobile area, which Guardsquare has some expertise on this area. I believe that Thales is very broad based. So from mobile angle, is there anything that Nicole would like to add in terms of what is software piracies, and from your angle, how is there any solutions, or is there any way that Guardsquare is doing to prevent it?
Yes, thank you, Michael. Before saying anything about how to avoid it, I think it's also good to give a scenario that we usually find quite often. It is not hard to find cloned apps in third-party party stores. Many of them have malware inserted into them. And these malwares can, for example, track customers' login credentials. And this can obviously affect the end customers and the company's brand. So to avoid this, we can offer many obfuscation techniques and so-called hardening, for example, and multiple layers of protection. So this is a way to prevent it.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So basically, I suppose in summary, I think software piracy is there, and it's very big, huge issue. So there are areas that we have to prevent it from happening. Yeah, I think these are the two angles that we are seeing from Thales and also Guardsquare. All right. Let me proceed to the second popular questions here. Okay, these are a little bit technical questions which I got from the technical team. And the question is how license checks be bypassed, and is there a way to avoid it, or how do we avoid it? Yeah. From the mobile angle, I think from a mobile apps angle, maybe I can invite Jonas to share his view in terms of answering this question. Jonas, can I invite you for this?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Michael. So in an ideal world, you would of course like to do as much as possible on the server side when it comes to validating license checks. But of course, that's not always possible. And in the end, there might be code present in the final application that you ship to your customers before you actually know whether they have a license or not. Take a simple example of a photo editing app that allows you to edit photos, of course, save it to your iPhone or your Android device. And if you have a license, there will be no watermark printed on the picture. However, if you have a trial account, there will be a watermark there. In the end, the code is all in the hands of the end user. So he can use certain hooking tools, for example, like Frida, to completely modify the way the app behaves dynamically at runtime, or he can try to do it statically on his machine, repackage the app, and again install it, modify it in such a way that, there will no watermark be printed on the image, even though he did not pay for the application. So here it would be extremely important to hide where you exactly verify the license. Also, you need to hide where you print a watermark to the image using code obfuscation. And as a best practice, you would also need to defend against dynamic attacks, such as, for example, hooking, or you need to have tampering checks available in your application, preferably in a diverse way, so that the checks don't always look the same and that they are not easy to find.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, I mean, if I hear correctly, looks like the Guardsquare has very effective ways of avoiding this bypass here. Yeah, from technical angle, right? Is there anything that Amit would like to add from this, from the Thales perspective?
No, no, not much. I think Jonas mentioned very accurately that the code obfuscation and IP theft is very much required, because without it, your application is always at the risk, and it can be copied, it can be pirated, and as Ali mentioned earlier, that it's always vulnerable for the malware infection and all, and giving a bad user experience. So yeah, I totally agree with Jonas.
Yeah, I think Jonas is. I think he covered it quite well. Yeah. Okay, let me proceed to question number 3. Yeah. Okay, these are very general question again, but I think let's hear from the expert. Yeah, what you have to say about this. Why is software security important? I'm sure everybody knows it's important. Yeah, but I think let's hear from Amit. Can I invite Amit? Yeah, I mean, what you have to say about software security in terms of its importance in digital age, current age. Yeah, Amit.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. This is great question. The world is facing digital transformation, and companies are more online now. We have seen this trend after pandemic, actually, when more people are working from home, and software companies are finding a way to provide more flexibility to customers based on their specific needs and requirements, such as offer the application in a mobile devices or via clouds, and etc. So user can access and use the software from wherever they want. And again, as per BSA, 37% of software installed on these devices is unlicensed, and this is the data before pandemic. But now, after pandemic, when software offering and deployment as well as distribution are becoming digitized, the percentage would be a lot higher. So one of the major challenges software companies see on their way of digital transformation is a risk of piracy, a risk of IP theft, as Jonah mentioned, the risk of revenue loss, as well as the challenges for revenue growth. Hence, one thing, it is very important to control such piracy and stop IP theft. But then it is also important to offer the easy and uninterrupted service to their users, and hence the software security with flexible licensing is on the high demand now more than ever. Michael.
Yeah. I didn't catch you earlier. You were talking about 31 million something. What was that again? Sorry, Amit.
Actually, this is a report for BSA Alliance software companies that 37% of the software installed on the devices is unlicensed, and this is the report
Unlicensed.
from
I
this
see.
is the report from 2018, before the pandemic.
I see. Okay.
So this number is definitely not updated. The real number in today's world after pandemic is definitely a lot more higher. Yeah.
Okay, you're saying it's increasing, yeah, over the months, and yes, yeah.
Exactly, because everything is going digital these days. Many
I see.
software companies are offering a digitized version of their software or delivery and all that. So yeah,
I see.
it's
Okay,
becoming more challenged now.
correct. Yeah. So I suppose there is a huge, bigger market for software security solutions
It is
nowadays.
a need, actually. It
It
is a
is a
need,
need,
actually,
yeah.
in today's world. Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Thank you so much for your statistics. I mean, is Nicole, from commercial angle, is there anything that you would like to add to what Amit has mentioned about this?
Yes. First of all, I think that Amit made great points here. I think he mentioned as well that there's an increase in the number of mobile devices and mobile use in the past years, also because of COVID. So it is no longer a question of if your app will be tampered with, but when it's going to be hacked. It's no question that we're living in a mobile first market. So people rely more and more in mobile apps for different activities such as banking, streaming, shopping, or even gaming. Um, so businesses and developers need to address the security aspects of their apps to build customer loyalty and revenue streams. But what if this is not put first and the customer's personal information is stolen? then this may result in many consequences for the companies, such as loss in customer base, revenue loss, reputational damage, and fines, for example. So I think that I can give you an example here as well. There's a bank, big bank in the UK, that recently was reverse engineered, and hackers were able to steal up to 2.5 million pounds. So on top of that, the company had to pay some fines, obviously, back to these customers, and also because they were not able to protect the assets of the clients. So at the end, they also had to pay 16.4 million pounds in return for this incident. So it is a very important aspect to take a look at, especially because the number of mobile apps is increasing in the next years.
I see. Okay, thank you so much, Nicole. Yeah, I mean, Nicole, if I can ask some questions here. I mean, you are covering a couple of regions. I mean, not just UK, probably Europe and also other parts of the world. Do you see, in terms of level of acceptance, are there any difference in terms of acceptance level from different parts of the world, different parts of the region, when it comes to implementations of software security solutions? Is there such a thing in your experience?
I think it depends as well a lot in industry. For example, at the moment there are new regulations in South America, especially in Brazil, which have forced a lot of banking companies or financial institutions to actually implement this kind of security. So it depends a lot of the regulations, and I also think that it's the role of regulators to actually, let's say, force companies, especially financial and banking institutions, to implement these kind of solutions.
I see. Okay, so you're saying from your experience, a lot of times the pressure from the regulators and compliance are actually driving the initiative of software securities implementation. A lot of times it is this area, right?
Correct. And also, I feel like in the Asia perspective, because of the pandemic as well, a lot of people started using more delivery apps, for example. So we've seen that there's also a lot of like an increase from this type of mobile apps searching for our solutions as well.
I see. Other than from the perspective of regulators, if we were to look at the industries as per se, is there any specific industries that are driving it much faster than any industries from mobile solutions, from mobile side? Any particular industries that is driving it from your experience?
Well, I guess as well, because of the pandemic, as I mentioned, there's been an increase in the use of mobile apps for banking and streaming and shopping. So I would say those three industries have increased a lot.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Banking, shopping. Yeah. And yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. For sharing. Amit, you have anything to add from what Nicole has mentioned earlier? Amit, can you share some experience?
Yeah, actually, from my experience, it's the I would say that it's almost all kind of industries are these days are going to digital, along with the banking sector and financial institutions that Ali mentioned. And the delivery software are also going to be digitized. So the companies are also looking for how to deliver the application online, and it becomes more challenges to make sure that the software is going to the right or authenticated user, not going to in some illegal hand or hacker's hand.
Correct. Yes.
So yeah, I think the security at this stage, when everything is going to digital after pandemic, is very much in high demand, as we mentioned earlier.
All right. Hey, thank you so much, Amit. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the last two questions. Question number 4. All right. These are the questions that I received from the commercial side. What are the risks towards your IP when distributing software? I think these are commonly asked questions, right, among all the sales and commercial team. Can I invite Probably Nicole. Nicole, can you address this popular question?
I think it's maybe better for Jonas to start and then I'll add.
Jonas. Okay, all right. Jonas, maybe can you address this first?
Yeah, sure. License checks are often used to monetize your application. But of course, it's also important to take into account your intellectual property because not everyone might be out there to just try to use your application free without paying themselves. Some people might also be after the intellectual property on itself. Take again the example of the photo editing app. Maybe there are some advanced algorithms embedded in that application in order to modify the picture in one way or another, which are really unique to your company and is a huge added value towards your customers. And that's what helps you sell the app in the end. Of course, you don't want the competition to get their hands on your intellectual property, but while distributing the application, you're actually also distributing the source code almost if we're talking about Java, or at least bytecode or machine code of applications. So it's important to apply some kind of obfuscation to these mechanisms that are unique to your company, which you do not want to leak out to other people.
To add to that as well, we believe that there's also a great disconnect between the need to implement security solutions in mobile apps and the actual adoption of these practices. Developers usually prefer to have a faster app other than a secure app. So when these apps are developed, usually security is put towards the end of the development cycle, or not even taken into consideration. So this can consequently result in the risk for your intellectual property. So to avoid this risk, we suggest to shift mobile application security left. So what does that mean? This means to implement security tools and techniques at the beginning stage of the development cycle. Ideally throughout the whole cycle, but we understand that this may be too much work for the development. But this can change the scenario from fixing vulnerabilities as a reaction to attacks to proactively protecting apps from the start. So it's basically avoiding problems before the problems start. So by shifting left, you can avoid, like we mentioned, IP theft, financial loss, reputational damage, and even fines.
Yeah. I suppose the whole idea is to solve the root of the problem from the first time, right? Rather than to address the problem at the later stage, right?
Yes.
Yeah. This is one of the awareness that we have been trying to create in all our campaign. To mention that this is one of the first things that you should consider. If not subsequently, then there are a lot of other negative repercussions that the software or even the companies will suffer along the way. Yeah, I suppose I understand in this area. Amit, would you like to add anything before I go to the next question?
No, I think Ali mentioned pretty much well. Explained it. So yeah,
okay,
let's
thank
move
you.
to the second one.
Let me go to the next one. Yeah. Okay. Well, this question I think very much directed to Thales. I think Thales is one of the top companies when it comes to the topic of software licensing and monetization. But these are the words which are not so clearly understood by many. So I think it's a good time that we hear directly from the expert here. I think Amit, and I hope that Amit can probably help us to clear the myth or the misunderstanding of what software licensing and monetizing is all about. In very short layman terms, see whether Amit can do this. Okay, Amit, over to you. Yeah.
Yeah. See, software monetization helps software companies to extract the maximum value of their product and services while protecting their application and their intellectual property. So the advantage of this licensing is to increase the revenue and profitability. as well as to offer the seamless experience to the users.
Mm,
So licensing offers multiple ways to introduce a new business model quickly and effectively as the market needs changes.
mhm,
Other advantage are portability and flexibility, as it can allow the customer to access the applications from whenever and wherever they want. For example, the user who purchased the mobile app, they should be free to switch from one mobile device to another mobile device. And continue using the application, the service uninterrupted. So this is becoming very much important, and that improves the user experience.
mm,
The third advantage is, of course, protecting against piracy, as you can control the uses of your software and entitlements and access right, and ensure the user always gets authentic software and be free from any malware contents and any legal issues. So I'd say these are the top three advantages of software licensing and monetization. Michael.
okay. Hey, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Are there, okay, I'm going to ask you this. Are there any, like, one of the, in your experience, is there any one top challenge that you encounter whenever you're trying to address or talk about these three top yeah, benefits of software monetizations and also licensing model?
Well, one of the challenges that I see is that the vendor is not able to determine what is the best licensing model for them, for their business,
Okay.
plan. And most of the time they actually invest to figure out that one. Usually they are not even aware of what business model would be needing to maximize the revenue from their product and services that they sell to the market. And this is where we offer our help. We offer
Mm-hmm.
our consulting advices,
Mm-hmm.
and we offer the full implementation and solution to protect and license the applications that they can get more revenue from the market.
Okay, cool. I mean, okay, so those that are listening to this live session and probably much later recorded version, yeah, those who wants to get some uh, top advice in terms of drafting out their business model, I think Bobby, Amit will be able to come in to help you in terms of the software monetization part. All right. Okay. Okay. We have come to the end of the session. Let us see the. Okay. Before that, is there anything Nicole would like to add to what Amit has said about the licensing and monetization model?
Not really. I think that he raised very good points and it was well explained. So I don't think I can add anything to that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Let's see whether there's any questions from the audience.
There's one in the chat there.
There's one in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. There's one question. Okay, I'm not so sure who should answer this. The question is there any enforcement or regulatory driving the software licensing towards the software development company? Okay. Is there any enforcement and regulator driving the software licensing toward the software development company? I think this question more related to Amit, right? Do you understand the question, Amit?
Is it something the question is about? Is there any regulator driving the software licensing towards the software development company?
Correct. Yes, correct.
I'm not sure, but if we talk about the enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
we are seeing the trends of the subscription, model enforcement that more and more software development companies are adapting these days,
Mm-hmm.
because adapting this subscription based enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the user based enforcement, they are actually covering the bigger market out there. uh, and they are also giving the user an option to pay for what exactly they use, rather than overpaying it and not using the entire package, because which is not probably they need.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the main enforcement type that software development companies are adapting these days. uh, but I'm not sure if I answered this question, or maybe you can.
If I were to read it again, I think if I were to read it again, I think the question is about if, let's say, there is a software development company, public with private companies, not any, can be any companies. Is there any regulations that are enforcing that this software development company must implement software licensing?
Okay. I think there is no regulation, and if there is any regulation, I am not aware of.
Okay.
But definitely there are laws. There are rules and regulations which does not allow to pirate, making a piracy of the application or doing any kind of pirated act.
Okay.
That is there is a law. Definitely there is a law. But most users are not aware of it, probably, and
Okay.
they don't even know that the software that I explained that they purchased is a real software or pirated copy. So it's not their
Correct.
fault. So it is our responsibility as a vendor to protect our application, implement a solution that could prevent hacker to make any illegal copy and sell to the market. And this is the way that they're not only protecting their own revenue, but they are also protecting the users who are using the application.
True.
So yeah, I don't think there is any regulatory, or if there is, I'm not aware of, as I said. But this is something our responsibility that we should be, definitely doing that.
Okay. So you're saying even across the territory that you're covering, you don't see that there is a strict regulations enforcing the software licensing for even private companies developing a software. Yeah,
that's right.
It's our responsibility to inform them, to create awareness, like what Nicole mentioned earlier, the kind of awareness that we have to start even from the day one, that they should implement the security solutions or security aspect of it from when they are developing the software, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, I don't see any question here. Yeah, we are almost 3:30. Maybe we can wrap up. Can I ask Bobby, each one of you, to say some last final pointers regarding this topic, software IP protection and also mobile applications? Can I invite maybe Jonas? Maybe one advice, if you have to give one advice, what is the advice from your side, from technical angle? Yeah.
Well, to summarize, besides having a good way to monetize your mobile application, also make sure that it is well protected against reverse engineering, against both the static and the dynamic attacks.
Okay, great. Yeah. How about Nicole?
I think the biggest takeaway from what I have said would be to shift security left. I think it's very important for companies to start seeing security since the beginning and not just at the end. So I think that's a very important takeaway.
Yes, yeah, I agree, totally agree with that. Thank you, Nicole. And yeah, Amit, can you share one last takeaway from yourself, Thales?
Yeah, just to add what Jonas and Ali mentioned already, that uh, uh, it is, after pandemic, we are living in a digital world, and it is getting more digitized, and there is a high risk of these kind of acts in the market, and it can certainly impact your revenue in the long term. So and definitely the bad, it can give the bad user experience as well in the market. So this is the time that we should be responsible and protect our intellectual property, protect our software, and give a better experience to our user in the world.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Amit, yeah, for the last pointer. And yeah, thank you so much again for joining this live session. We will probably look at what are the next topic that is popular among the question from the sales and commercial and also technical side. All right. Thank you so much again, and have a nice day, and hope that we'll be able to probably organize another session to address another area. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks, Nicole and Jonas.
Thank you.
All right, bye. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, this is my last slide. Sorry, I forgot my last slide. For those that would like to ask further questions and you're shy to put it up on the chat box, you can email to me and we can get the right people to answer to you and we will follow up from here. All right. My email is salin@matrixinvent.com. Okay. You can just write any questions to me. All right. Hey, thanks again. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.